Dialogue with a Doctor, featuring one of Southwest Florida's leading gastroenterologists, Dr. Raymond Phillips of Gastroenterology Group of Naples.
Welcome to our show. Well, Dr. Phillips, thank you for coming on the show again. Let's tell our viewers a little bit about yourself that hasn't seen you on one of our previous shows.
Sure. Absolutely, Jim. I'm a gastroenterologist. I'm board certified in gastroenterology. And what that means is I went to college. I graduated Princeton. Then I went to medical school at Washington University in St. Louis. Went on to do an internal medicine residency at a Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. Was chief resident there as well. And then since I went through college on an ROTC scholarship, I went on active duty as an internist at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And then I was selected for gastroenterology training at Walter Reed, and then I was on staff at Walter Reed. And since I got out of the Army in the early 1990s, I've been down here in Naples, and our practice has grown. I work with other gastroenterologists, Dr. Gustavo Rivera, Dr. Rafael Urbina, Dr. Sandra Hara, and Dr. Susan Lebersky. And we have an office in downtown Naples at Colonial Square, as well as on Marco Island and Bonita. But the point is, I'm an expert in digestive diseases, which involves the entire gastrointestinal system from the mouth all the way to the other end, the stomach and colon, as well as the liver and the pancreas.
Well, today topic we're going to talk about is the different effects on our body based on plant-based food and Western diets. So why don't you start with that?
Well, this is an absolutely exploding area of new research in gastroenterology. And to give you some brief definitions, what we're discussing here indirectly is this condition, is the collective bacteria and organisms within the colon called the microbiome. And what we're learning about the microbiome, it can profoundly influence your health. Now, for years, to lead this in to this topic about digestion, and in particular the topic about nutrition, for years it had been believed, and there's been a huge number of studies showing that diets that are rich in fruit and vegetables are healthy and exert health benefits in terms of reduced incidence of atherosclerotic disease like heart disease, strokes, help in terms of blood pressure reduction, management of diabetes, prevention of obesity, and on and on. So a large number of health benefits, but it was never ever really clear why a plant-based diet program, as opposed to conventional Western diet, which is a high-fat item with a number of processed foods and meats and so forth, why there would be a difference. Until recently, with the understanding about the microbiome, we're realizing these bacterial products within your GI tract actually directly influence your overall health, and it depends very much on the foods that you eat, which influence the microbiome, and then in turn, by influencing the microbiome, the bacterial populations within your colon, those bacterial populations produce certain products that then are absorbed in your bloodstream and influence your health. So that sounds very grand. Let me give you a specific example. And this is pretty exciting stuff. Is that when you eat fruit and vegetables in a large amount, it's not all absorbed in your small intestine. When it arrives in your colon, it's fermented by bacteria there, and some of those fermentation products are a particular kind of product called short-chain fatty acids. And the principal among them is one called butyric acid. Now, that's a nutritional source for your colon, and it actually provides about 15% of your calories for your entire body. But those short-chain fatty acids are absorbed into the bloodstream, and they have direct feedback receptors in the pancreas, the liver, the brain, and have been shown to, the more this butyric acid, which is produced by a plant-based diet, it can reduce production of insulin, reduce your appetite, and lead to reduced amount of production of fat within the liver. And all those things are beneficial in terms of reducing your metabolism, maintaining your weight, and preventing higher levels of cholesterol and triglycerides. So that's one very specific example of how eating more fruit and vegetables has influences the microbiome, and then in turn influences the production of the microbiome, which influences your health. Now, alternatively, and this has been shown in studies on the microbiome, when you eat a diet that's high in processed meats, it's high in fat that tastes good, then what happens is that those productions, the microbiome that produces those beneficial products like butyric acid, those bacteria, they diminish within your colon, and other bacteria rise up that can help digest those components of a Western diet. And there's a reduction of butyric acid, and that's associated with a rising in rises in blood sugar, more insulin production, and higher triglycerides, higher cholesterol. So my point being is that what you eat has an influence on the bacteria in your colon that in turn influences what's produced that then directly affects your overall health. So the exciting thing about this, now we have finally an understanding of why eating fruit and vegetables can lead to a beneficial effect on your health. And that's the exciting part about this. Rather than just blindly saying, well, eat more fruit and vegetables because it's good for you, there's a particular mechanism, biochemical mechanism that allows this to occur.
How about balanced diet? I mean, just talk about that. You're not going to eat all fruits and vegetables.
When I say a plant-based,
some people are vegetarians, right?
Yeah, and that's an important point. And it's really, when I say plant-based diet, I don't mean exclusively a vegetarian diet.
Right.
And I don't mean exclusively a vegetarian diet. What I'm trying to say, and I'll give you, is that it's a well-balanced diet where you have 4 to 7 servings of fruit and vegetables during the day. Now, this is a big tent. We're not trying to exclude anybody, but when you eat more fruit and vegetables as a greater volume of your food intake, what can then occur is that you tend to eat less of those high-fat items that I was telling you about before. Now, let me give you an example, and the reason I like to emphasize moderation. If Dr. Oz had a show on just the other day. He was talking about rice and how rice is, he had touted rice in many of his shows, how it's a nutritionally complete food product's wonderful for you. But he was touting, oh, there's arsenic in rice and it can kill you. Well, yeah, that's if you eat rice exclusively and it's the only food component in your diet. Yeah, you might get a little extra arsenic in your diet. And it sort of highlights the issue that if you're go overboard in terms of concentrating on each nutritional study, you can sometimes extrapolate information from one study, apply it to yourself, and be so excessive in that application that it might lead to personal poor health outcomes. So that's why it's better understanding that science sort of changes and fits and starts, and you're not going to get the complete answer on one particular study. You need to moderate your response to each study, and so in response, be more moderate in terms of eating a well-balanced diet. Let me tell you one more story related to that. A good friend of mine, he was convinced that tuna was the absolute best protein in the world. That was the only food he was going to eat, and so he ate it exclusively. Tuna every day, day after day, meal after meal. And then after 15 years, it turned out that there was higher levels of mercury that were identified in tuna.
Oh, really?
So he was alarmed that he might become mad as a hatter because of mercury levels. So he rushed out to check his mercury level. Fortunately, mercury levels were okay. He was still on mad. But at any rate, the notion was is that don't be excessive in terms of your selection of dietary items. Try to eat a well-balanced diet, a variety of foods. Emphasize your fruits and vegetables, and that's what I mean by a plant-based diet. Now, you can have vegetarians and even fruitarians are very exclusive, and that doesn't necessarily lead to a better health outcome, and so it's not. I'm not advocating that at all. And in fact, being a vegetarian requires quite a lot of dedication to make sure you get a comprehensive amount of food products that allow you to get all the nutritional needs, in particular protein, in your diet.
So let me ask you a personal question, okay? Because obviously you're a busy guy, work long hours. What's your typical diet?
Well, I typically have some sort of cereal in the morning, usually some type of oats. I'll have a couple of fruits with that as well. Then typically lunch, I'll have some kind of sandwich, carrots and celery, usually an apple and an orange. I'm a Florida doctor. I got to eat my orange.
Right.
It's okay. And then in the evening meal, I have at least a couple of three vegetables and some type of small meat product or so forth, and some type of starch, and then that's pretty much my diet. But you can vary the vegetables and vary the fruit and so forth, and minimize any kind of snacks and so forth in between meals. So.
Well, Dr. Phillips, thanks for coming
Well,
on the
thanks
show.
so much, Jim. I appreciate that.
That was interesting.
Again, I expect pushback on this, okay, but that's all right.
That's
I'll
good.
be happy to speak with my viewers.
We're here to educate people, aren't we?
All right, yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you very much.
I can handle it.
Yep, you can handle it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you in need of a gastroenterologist in the Naples, Marco Island, or Bonita Springs area? Dr. Raymond Phillips of Gastroenterology Group of Naples, along with his fellow physician associates, are board certified in gastroenterology hepatology and one of the most respected medical practices in Southwest Florida. Hear it from one of his patients directly.
I've been a patient of Dr. Phillips for myself personally the last 20-25 years. He's treated my family, my extended family, my friends. I never mind coming here because it's a very friendly place, and everyone here makes me feel that way. They're so caring. And Dr. Phillips, I get a chuckle out of him because everywhere in his building it says, "We work where the sun don't shine."
With the medical industry changing so rapidly, Dr. Raymond Phillips offers the newest technology and treatments in his field. If you're looking for a practice that is attentive and will address all your questions and concerns, call Dr. Phillips' Naples office today for an appointment at 239-649-1186.